we are here to announce a very good news, okay, in related to Scorpene campaign by Swaram. Let me introduce my team here first, and then I will over to Cynthia to explain more on the motive of the press conference today. On my right is Mr. Zunar, well-known cartoonist, and he's an international cartoonist now. Okay, and he's the most important person here for today's PC actually. Okay, on my left is Cynthia Gabriel, our Swaram Secretary member, and also Fadia Danwa, she's our lawyer as well as our Swaram Secretary member. Now I pass to Cynthia to tell the news to you.
Thank you everyone for coming to this press conference. As you know from the press advisory that you received, today's press conference is very specific to announce to you something very special, and I'm sure you can already guess what it is since we have Zunar on the panel. And Zunar, second name is Cartoon. Okay, so not that he is cartoon-like, but he's really internationally recognized now as one very famous cartoonist, political cartoonist that has actually caused ripples of anxiety with the administration and with many of the people in power, who, especially those who have abused their power or have misused their power. He has been very, very sharp in his drawings, in his depictions of the current situation in Malaysia today. And so what we're very happy to announce is that Swaram and the Scorpene campaign, in which Swaram leads, has now worked on a cartoon series with Zunar and is ready to launch it on the 29th of November at 8 p.m. in the auditorium above this building, the one on the first floor. So we're actually here to tell you that the cartoon series is part of an ongoing public education process, one that has taken us far and wide across the highways and byways of Malaysia to various parts of Peninsular Malaysia at least. We have actually gone on various road shows, ceramah, giving briefings to different people as a way to correct the misinformation that has come out very strongly in the mainstream media on this Scorpene issue. And as journalists, I'm sure you know that this Scorpene issue is one that's riding very high on the agenda of all politicians, mainly because it's a massive corruption issue. It hits at very high-profile names in the current administration, and it's one that will become a very hotly debated issue both in Parliament, outside Parliament, and in the lead-up to the general elections. So it becomes imperative, it becomes absolutely necessary for Swaram and the Scorpene committee to ensure that the facts of the case, the facts of the inquiry, which is ongoing in France, are distributed, reached out to as many Malaysians as possible. And it becomes really important for us to look at different mediums because, as you know, we have no access, or hardly very little access, to the mainstream media. So we do have to take to creative means, and we have actually taken a very creative approach, apart from ceramah, taklimat and all that. One of the best and most creative approaches is to actually laugh at something that is so difficult to first understand, digest, and to beat the propaganda in the mainstream media. So I was talking to Zunar earlier, and he told me the power of cartoons lies in laughter. And I think all of us from the time that we were going to school always used to enjoy looking at cartoons because it tells you the story in a very quick way, it's very witty, and you end up laughing. And we all know that laughter is the best medicine. And I just confirmed that with Zunar, because every time Zunar is in our presence, he really makes us laugh, cartoons or not. So it's this sense of fun and joke that lies within a very complex and complicated issue. Because as you know, the Scorpene scandal has just about everything. It involves the murder of a Mongolian woman. It involves allegations of sex. It involves huge allegations which are being investigated on corruption, on bribery, on kickbacks that are being paid out to politicians on both sides of the deal, both in France and in Malaysia. And it has everything. But what I'd like to say is that the storyline that has been created jointly between Swaram and Zunar actually tells the Scorpene story in 32 pages. 32 caricatures, 32 depictions of the Scorpene story. And it tells you just about everything that's going on. And so we'd like to actually tell you today that we're going to be launching this cartoon series on the 29th. You're not going to get the books today, which means you have to come again on the 29th. And to also tell you to write about it so that more Malaysians will know and they will come for the launch, and they will actually be able to support a very important initiative and a very, very important resource material that will add to the Scorpene campaign, whose objective is to ensure that the real facts of the case reach Malaysians, and especially the rural Malaysians who do not have access to the internet, who cannot read Malaysia Kini, Malaysian Insider, all the different blogs that are out there that bravely report on this case. So without further ado, you also have the written statement, so you can quote Swaram on the written statement. I'm going to hand this short press conference over to Zunar to tell you a little bit more about what the whole cartoon series is about, the launch, and so on. So books will not be distributed, but Zunar will be whetting your appetite and showing you the front page. He'll be flipping a few pictures and so on, because the main day is the launch on the 29th. Next Thursday night, 8 p.m. at the auditorium upstairs.
It doesn't work? What?
It's for the video.
Okay.
It's for the video.
This is still under official secret. Yes, the book. This is the book mentioned by Cynthia. The title is all in Bahasa Melayu. The title is Hikayat, Pak Monggol dan Scorpene. So this book is 100% cartoon books. This is all cartoon. So you can see from page 1, this is all in cartoon with a very minimum text. So every page is like that. So it goes from they travel, this 4 individual travel to Spain, and then they purchase a submarine, and then it goes on to Atantuya issue, to the court case, and then the court case in Malaysia and the court case in Paris, and so on. So this book actually going back to basic. That's why we do it very basic, right? Because it goes back to basic. Mean that we want people to know the basic story first. That's why we come up with this book. There are Atantuya issues for some people. Atantuya and Scorpene issue. Actually, Atantuya and Scorpene issue are two biggest scandal in Malaysia. So, but unfortunately, in Malaysia, the media black out these two biggest issues. So I think this is our responsibility, and my responsibility as cartoonist to tell the Malaysian public what's actually going on. behind these two issues. So when discussed with Swara, so we came out with one solution in order to get people to understand the information and the story behind it, especially for the in rural areas. For some people, when we talk about billion, you can't imagine because billion is beyond reachable. More than 6 zeros, they start to confuse it. So some people think that when we talk about this involve billion, so they cannot think, they cannot imagine. So it will for them, this issue is sometimes a bit technical and a bit complicated when we present it in other form, like maybe ceramah, maybe the talimat, maybe the things. Or some people think this is too complicated for them. So that's why we want people to understand this issue. That's why the solution is we thought cartoon is the best medium because people can understand cartoon very well. And cartoon have advantage compared to other medium, I think, because when people look at cartoon, they laugh. Normally people will laugh, and then cartoon carry a very quick message. You don't need to read, 2 or 3 minutes, you can get the message, and then it's a very universal. I show this cartoon to this book to people who live in China, so they still can understand this book. They still can understand this cartoon is very universal and it's very graphical. The most important thing is graphical. It will stick in people mind, the picture. So we want people to know this, and we want people to understand these issues. Then only they can take part to debate this issue. This is basic first. Some people, they don't understand the issue, they don't know how it started, they don't know how it ends, and some ceramah also focus, they take only one part of it. They don't start from the beginning. So this book will tell you from the beginning until the end of these 2 episodes. So for me as a cartoonist, I very happy to involve in this project, and this is my contribution for the nation and for Swara, to help Swara, and I hope that everybody in Malaysia will understand these issues before this general election, the Hikayat and Scorpene issue, so they can take part, they can really understand who they want to vote and how much money taken, how much real taxpayer money involved in this scheme. It's not about how much government pay, but how much they take your money. So we want them to have that feeling, to have that sentiment by reading this book. That's why in this book, there are one part that the one part we highlight about the commission. The people keep mentioning about 500 million commission. Actually, we show that how they get this money is from tax. From the government collect tax from public, tax from GST, from toll, whatever. This is to show to the public this is your money. You pay to their corruption, to do corruption. This is important. So we want people to feel that. Then they will react and they will take part in the debate. So I hope that this book will be going to be the very effective book